Hello.
Meow. Doing all
Not
right.
unwell. Hey, Pose. In reference to the stream thing, so does that mean that after the stream's complete, it'll just be up on your YouTube for anybody to view afterwards? Okay. Willow was asking to make sure somebody recorded it, and I was like, well, I'm pretty sure that after a stream's done, it does that. So.
Do I have to keep myself PG tonight? T for teen. All right.
So you can say poop.
So I can say fuck, shit, cunt, bastard, rat bastard, and what the fuck, right? Okay. I'm just making
Don't
sure.
say the C word.
Okay. I just want to make sure you're not getting in trouble with YouTube because YouTube algorithm.
Yet. He doesn't even have his headphones in yet. Mm-hmm. Chef your poopy butthole. His younger brother called him that once, and I swear I've never heard him take offense to something so hard. I mean, yeah, like now if you ever want to get him, call him a poopy butthole. Mr. Poopy Butthole. What a bizarre character. Then again, most of Rick and Morty was just full of that. Oh, shit, he's here. Everybody be quiet. Hey, how you doing, Chef?
Hi.
Gonna hold a Viking funeral over your body in D&D.
You're what? You're talking about that?
No. I was making fun of our last game.
Oh, gotcha.
No, we were playing Phasmophobia. And him and two other random people, like I died, they just grabbed candles, set them around my body, and just started circling my dead corpse. It's highly disturbing. I think that was the end goal, yeah.
That's what I said. We even burned the body afterwards.
They did. Oh, you should have dumped salt on me.
Damn. That would have been an Egyptian style, nonetheless.
Hey, maybe that's why Lydia disappeared. Oh no, wait, that was a smudge stick.
I dropped a smudge stick on Lisa, yeah.
Was it Lisa? Fuck.
Okay. I will not be turning on my face cam tonight. I am a hot mess right now because diving.
What's the music choice for today? What's up, Ash? I said, what's the music choice for today? And then I said, what's up, Ash?
Oh, that's a good point.
Gotcha.
Yes, what he said. Just relax and enjoy the show, and occasionally go pew pew. I'm a pew pew good. Oh, we'll listen to that in the background, Chef.
Alrighty, finishing getting everything set up, and as soon as it's ready, we get to go.
Okie dokie.
Alrighty, I think we've got everything all set up. Everybody's here and ready to go. So, thank you everybody for joining. If you are not a player but you are listening in and in the chat here, please make sure you are muted so as to not break immersion. As well, this is the first game we will be streaming live. If you're one of very few people tuning in on YouTube, thank you for doing so. This stream is rated T. There might be some language that you're not comfortable with. There might be some action you're not necessarily comfortable with. So viewer discretion is advised. With all that said and out of the way, we're going to start with our recap from last week. Last time, we found ourselves continuing our adventure in the temple. Unfortunately, one of us was set away, separate, in the void and in the dark. Little Bella had an encounter with some creature. Unknowing its intention and without getting too terribly much information from it. The conversation was brief and Bella was sent away into some strange place. There was a veiled fog everywhere, where Bella encountered a peculiar character who went by the name of Lexrenar. Lexrenar led a young Bella to a young gnome who went by the name of Wreaths, the gnome wizard. After sharing a cup of tea, Bella was sent away and found herself in a mine where she is presently being chased by goblins. Meanwhile, back in the temple, we continued exploring the different rooms. After leaving the greenhouse room and heading into the bunk room, we found ourselves surrounded by what seemed to be corpses in beds, which were slowly disappearing. There were sounds of some disembodied voices, some unknown steps and knocks, until eventually the door locked, and our heroes were locked within. It wasn't terribly long, however, and without incident, they managed to get out with the help of Bella, who I might remind you was stuck in a mine being chased by goblins. But this Bella did open the door for them, unlocking it from the other side, and our heroes began exploring further into the temple, which now found itself home to many wisps. Heading to the next door, they began to open it. They were certain that this would be the kitchen. They were told so by one of the wisps. And as the door opens, that is where our game tonight begins. As the door to this temple room opens, the rusted iron door slides with a screeching metallic sound against the stone. Within, there is what was once a fine display of a kitchen. There are cracked stonework tiles that line the floor. Dust and ash float through the air, and a smell of smoke dominates your senses. The room sits as a 20 by 20 feet with a large counter center of the room. Attached to this is a small cupboard whose doors are burned away, revealing jars of unknown contents. Shining knives rest held in place by rusted metal hooks against the cupboard. Behind the counter there rests a shelf of iron pots, pans, and cooking utensils, and a brick wood-burning stove beside it, whose vent extends to the ceiling of this room. Lining the wall next to the door are a number of barrels, labeled, though the labels are burned and illegible. Despite this, the barrels seem in pristine shape, as though built only a day earlier. To the left of the door is a long table, burned and barely standing, holding nothing on its surface, for its legs are so singed that should any weight be applied, you fear the whole may fall. Seeing the room in its entirety, what do you do?
Detect mag. I want to see if there's any traps inside of the room. Any magical traps.
Are you casting Detect Magic to do this?
I don't have detect magic, but I am just investigating to see if there's any traps, magical traps.
Understood. Go ahead and roll me an investigation.
That's a 14.
Ketud begins to look around carefully in this room to see if there's anything suspicious, anything that might cause him harm. With a 14, you don't see anything explicit. No tripwires, no pressure plates, nothing necessarily out of the ordinary, although something that would catch your eye is the fact that those knives are particularly well kept, and those barrels are pristine. It is very unusual considering the state of the room.
Who's in the room with me?
You are here at this room with Bella, Alastor, and Nephylia.
Nephylia, you see how well kept those knives are? And it's kind of awkward. It's kind of strange how those are the only things that are good in this room and everything else is burnt down and husked with the former shelf.
Yeah, something's not right. Nephylia is going to try and do her own. I'm really sorry. That was Max blowing his nose. Yeah, I'm going to also check and see if I see anything out of place.
Give me an investigation.
That's a 16 with, where's my investigation? Oh, -1. Okay, so 15.
15. Searching around, you don't see anything that Ketud didn't see. The same things that seemed odd to him seem odd to you. The fact that these knives, they seem sharp and shined. And these barrels, it's as if they were purchased just yesterday.
Am I able to inspect the barrels closer? Or how far are the barrels into the room?
They're not terribly far. The barrels are immediately to the right of the door, lining the wall.
Okay, I'm going to try and inspect the barrel specifically a little closer to figure out what's in it.
Alright, so you enter the room and you go up to the barrels to see if you can't figure out what's inside of them. Looking at them, you can see that they were at one point labeled. There are papers attached to them, but they are so old and they are burned that they are illegible. You get the feeling that the only way you could truly know what's inside of these barrels is to open them.
Nephylia, do you remember this room at all?
Does this room seem familiar, like the way that it's set out? Does it remind me of the kitchen that was back there at the...
It is the spitting image of the kitchen you once knew when you were much, much younger. Although it is much dirtier than the last time you saw it, and there are much fewer people in here. You remember this room being bustling every hour of the day and night, with people coming and going and cooking meals for everybody in the temple. Although it is odd to you to see it so empty.
Are there any wisps in there as well, or did they stay exclusively out in the common area?
There are no wisps within this room.
Okay.
Is there any debris on the ground at all?
On the ground, there's plenty of dust and ash. I think around the table you might find a few pieces of broken off wood, but that's about it.
You said there are pots in the shelf as well?
Yes, at the opposite end of the room, behind the counter, there's a shelf with pots and pans and kitchen utensils.
And that's where the knives are as well?
No. Attached to the counter, there is a cupboard, and attached to that cupboard are shining knives held in place by rusted hooks.
Okay. Hey, Nephylia, kind of I don't really know if I trust this room exactly, but what do you think about hiding behind this door and throwing like a pot or a piece of wood at those knives? Make sure that they're not trapped at all.
You want to throw a pot at a knife?
Well, I mean, it seems crazy to think, but what if those knives like come alive or something and try to attack us when we go into the room, or at least more so? I feel more safe if we were by the door, and we threw the pot in, or maybe a piece of wood, like that piece of wood right there. Knock the knives off the hooks and see what they did. If they did anything at all. And then if nothing happens, we go back in and explore some more.
Yeah, I was actually about to inquire about that too, Ash. Ash says, does the whole place look like there was a fire at one point or something? Like, you mentioned the barrels in particular. It looks like the labels were burned off and the table that was demolished. Does it look like a fight or like a more organic type fire, if you know what I mean?
Give me an insight check to determine that information.
Okay. Fudge. Oh, wait, 2, 4, 13.
There was most assuredly a fire at some point. Whether it was malicious or accidental, it is difficult to say.
Okay. You know what? I am going to walk further into the room. I'm going to start making my way closer to the knives.
Alrighty. You make your way over towards the knives. They're on the side of the cupboard whose doors have burned away, and within you can see jars filled with unknown substances.
Am I able to investigate further to see what those are? Or see if I can identify them?
Yes, I think you would actually probably know what's already in this cupboard. You know that that's where the spices were kept.
Okay. I want to investigate the knives closer and see if there's any type of trap or anything that could potentially go off if I try and grab them.
Give me an investigation.
That is... Oh my god, that's 14.
There is no obvious trap with the knives, although you do have a feeling in the pit of your stomach that something is wrong with them.
What is Bella and Alastor doing?
I think Alastor is likely standing just outside of the door, keeping an eye on what's going on inside, as well as the wisps outside. Bella, you can't seem to see. If you would like to try and find her, roll me a perception.
That's an 18.
You stop and take stock of everybody's location. Nephilia's over inspecting the knives. Alastor's just outside. Bella is... And it takes you a moment, but you do just manage to spot her underneath the table, hiding away.
Bella, what are you doing down there?
Oh, hi. I was trying to find a spot that's safe in case anything happens. I don't want to be seen. I would rather see them first so I can sneak up. Like you said, those knives might do something, and I don't want to get cut first.
Oh, my bad. You keep hiding there, my bad.
I also found these cards down here.
Sorry.
I found this deck of cards down here. They're a little dusty, but they could be fun later.
Oh, really? Oh, I used to play dragon cards all the time. That's cool. Okay. Now what?
Is
What would
Bella
you say?
Is Bella under that table that looks like it was gonna fall?
Yeah.
I'm gonna call out to Bella from where I'm at. Say, it's best not to stay under there. That doesn't seem very sturdy, Bella.
It'll be fine as long as nothing gets on top.
It's fine, Nephylia. Let her be.
Okay.
You watch as Bella comes out from under the table.
That makes me feel better. All right. Well, obviously, we need to address either something in the barrels or something about the knives. There's got to be a reason that these two things have not aged the way the rest of this kitchen has.
Wow. I still think maybe we should try to throw some into the knives and knock them off the hinges, but maybe it'd be safer to investigate the barrels first. Unless you don't want to, we can leave and just go somewhere else.
I'm gonna look over to Alastor. Don't suggest touching the knives. All right, well, barrels it is.
Ketud would like to, after doing already investigations, like to very carefully try to wiggle one of the lids off of the barrel, if you can.
All right, you head over to one of the barrels. Go ahead and roll me a d6.
That's a 1.
Heading over to one of the barrels, you start messing with the lid, see if you can open it, and it does open without any issue. Do you fully remove the lid to inspect the contents?
With the lid ajar, can I see into it yet?
Yes, I think you would be able to see into it, but before you see into it, a certain smell starts to assault your senses. It is a smell of rot, although it is not pungent enough to do anything with a slightly opened lid.
Phew! Get the whiff of that smell. What is that? Nephylia, do you know what that is? Do I want to open this? So
Can I identify that smell?
Kind of coming up closer to the barrel, you take a good whiff and you recoil at it for a moment. Give me a nature check to try and identify it.
That's a 17.
That is a smell which you have smelled a few times in your life, but it's one you actively avoid. It is the smell of potatoes that have been left long enough that they have begun to liquefy.
What is it?
I'm gonna pull the lid off.
As you pull the lid off, the smell of rotten potatoes fills the room. It assaults your senses and fills your mind with nothing but, I need to get away from that smell.
I've smelled that smell before. It's so bad. Okay. Ketud's going to walk to the opposite side of the room, by the door.
I assume that Alastor is saying this out loud, and I'm gonna look over at him and go, "What? What? It's just stinky potatoes."
As Alastor from the door chastises you for opening up the barrel and filling the temple with that rotten smell. The potatoes do nothing in their barrel.
I'm going to try to seal the barrel back up.
Alright, the barrel, as it is in decent condition, is easy enough to close back, although the smell lingers.
I'm going to move to the next barrel and try and do exactly what Ketud did. Just try and pop it slightly, take a peek inside, or a whiff.
Roll me a d6.
I'm big dumb. I didn't pull a d6 out. Come on. It's up. Oh, wait, here it is. Sorry. Was I not hitting my microphone the whole time?
Nope.
I haven't heard a word from you.
Oh my god, I'm sorry, y'all. I got a 6 after digging around for it.
Gotcha. Alright. As you creak open this barrel, get it slightly ajar, and you take a whiff. There is no odor.
Am I able to peek inside, or is it too dark to see?
The barrel itself is fairly dark, although with the slight gap you've made, you can see the corner of something in there, although from this angle it is difficult to tell what it is. It is, however, a single object.
Can I see it moving, or is it just still?
It is not moving.
Okay, I am going to pull the lid back and peek inside.
Pulling the lid back and taking a look inside, you can see that there is a book within.
Alright, well, this is curious.
What'd you find in the other one? More potatoes?
There's a book.
A book? What is it? What kind of book?
I haven't even got to it, you little impatient halfling.
Wait, hold on. Before you try to like reach down in there, maybe you should try to turn the barrel over and empty it out. Something might grab you and suck you in.
What? To appease Ketud, I'm going to knock the barrel over.
And thus
But
the
I'm going to
barrel
make-
is knocked over.
I'm going to make full eye contact with him the whole time, like, bruh.
It's a safety precaution.
Alright, well, little halfling, you crawl in there and grab the book.
No, you knocked it over. Now the book came out, right? You hit it pretty hard. Does the book come out when she knocks it over?
I'd say the book is sitting at the edge of the barrel, like a corner of it is outside of the barrel, but it's mostly still in it.
You want to pick it up, Nephi, or do you want me to pick it up?
I'm gonna stand over top of the barrel and continue to make eye contact with him and go, "What's wrong? Are you scared? Are you scared of the book?
Why are you trying to, like... What is this?
What's wrong? What's wrong, little halfling?"
What the fuck is this? No, I'm not scared of anything. And Ketud's going to walk over and pick up the book.
And as you pick up the book, you feel a sense... No, it's just a book.
It looks like it's just a regular book. I'm going to open it up and flip through the pages. What's it saying? What's the book called?
Taking a look at the cover of the book, it has no title. It is a simple leather-bound journal, although it is old, cracked, and worn. All but 5 pages of this journal have been torn out.
Is there any... What's on the pages?
Taking a look at the pages within this book, the first thing you notice is that this is the first thing you've seen that has been written in the common tongue. And it reads... Rather, I should ask, do you read the pages?
I'm gonna, like, do this to Nephi, like, bring her over and, like, open the book up so that she can read with me. And have both of us read it at the same time, if she wants to, that is. Nephi, you want to read this book with me?
Is it bedtime story time? Oh my god, yes, that's fine. I'm gonna peek over top of him.
Yes, and now we read the book together. Post.
Taking a look at the book together. The book reads, I don't know how long it's been. I don't remember. Misery fell yesterday. She was taken by them, the shadows of the forest. I don't know if she's alive. I hope she is. I hope she's looking for Harris. They can't die. If they die, it starts again. For the 1000th time, it starts again. And we play the song and dance again. The worst part is learning the truth. What this is, what it all means. Why I'm here. I don't remember each time, but I can't imagine it's very different. I'm hoping, beyond hope, I can find a way out. I'd pray, but the gods are blind here. I'll hide my book. I'll hide myself. Maybe I'll get away, maybe I'll die. But they won't find my journal, and then maybe I'll have a better chance. I don't know. If I'm reading this, Sean, you know this is your journal. It's not another trick. I can't prove it. But please believe the record I've made. You've got to get out. And the final page. I've done it. I found a way. I'm leaving this behind for anyone caught in their sick game. For Harris, for Misery. The exit. You can't fear the fire, you... The writing stops. The page is stained with blood and a large ink stain.
You can't let the fire?
You cannot fear the fire.
Okay.
Oh, that's, I don't think that went very well for him.
That's foreboding as all hell, but look at this. Look at what it says. It says that they've died multiple times, and that this is your journal. Is this Sean's journal? Was he talking to himself?
If I'm understanding this correctly, he's saying that he's in a loop. That we're in a loop.
You know, I think I read a book about this once. I think the book was called Tomorrow's Edge or something like that. Really good book. It was about this story about how this person like died constantly and kept on reliving the same day over and over again. Really good story. But This sounds like it kind of sounds like that. I wonder if we've died multiple times. Do you remember back in that prison cell we woke up and those bodies were in that? Did any of those bodies look like us?
I don't think any of us looked close enough to tell.
I think Bella was the only one that really like got a good look at it. Bella, do you remember those faces of those bodies back in that prison?
Yeah, I remember them. They were all different.
Okay. Wow. I wonder how many. I wonder if we've died multiple times and we don't realize it. Ash, what do you think about all this? Or Alastor, what do you think about all this?
Alastor, who still continues to guard the door, not having read the journal, but being privy to its contents from what you've stated. Indicates that they are not necessarily sure what to make of this information. It all seems terribly strange.
Does this sound like anything you've heard of before? You seem to be the most book smart of us all.
Sorry, I've read plenty of books. Though, to be honest, certain arcanas are not to my exact knowledge. Have I read anything familiar about this? About loops? About dying constantly coming back?
Give me either an arcana check or a religion check, and I must warn you, this is an incredibly difficult check.
Okay.
Same for you, Alastor.
You know what, I guess I'll go ahead and do this real fast.
Epic fail.
That is a 10. A mild 10.
While you've maybe read of such a situation in fictional works before, in practicality, you've never read or heard anything of it.
Now, you said arcana, or what was the other one?
Religion.
That's a 17 with my proficiency.
With a 17, unfortunately, you as well would not necessarily know about any of this. However, Alastor, with your natural 20 or 22, you don't necessarily know specifics. You don't know details. As a natural 20 won't necessarily earn you everything, but it does earn you something. You know that such things are possible with powerful magics, with beings who have a certain mastery over the weave, things much more powerful than any mortal being. I will repeat for you then. You know that such things are possible. They are not necessarily common by any means, and you don't know too terribly much about it. However, you know that such deeds are possible with incredible mastery over the weave, with powerful magics. You know that certain beings, not necessarily mortal beings that are native to your plane of existence, would be capable of such a feat. Even then, however, they would be incredibly rare. Alastor from the door. Whoever is doing this is extremely powerful, and is probably not from our plane of existence.
Well, that's foreboding.
It's a bit out of my wheelhouse.
Yes. Might be over all of our heads in this. But look, he also said that he got out somehow. Something about not fearing the fire.
Said that he had found a way out, not that he had gotten out.
Oh. Yeah, the blood stain on the book kind of like, that might actually be his blood. But wait. If he's died and come back multiple times, what if this Shorn character is still out here somewhere? What if he died here and came back again somewhere? We might see him. And what about Eris? I don't think we've seen anyone named Eris this entire time, but we might run into them.
That says Harris.
Eris? No, I can't read his writing. It's bad handwriting.
Handwriting's perfectly fine.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've seen many handwriting.
Of course, little halfling.
What's Bella doing?
Bella, it looks like, is admiring the pristine knives, though she dare not touch them.
Bella, I don't know if you should. The temptation might have you wanting to touch those knives, but I feel like you might just want to leave them behind. They might be trapped or something.
But they're really nice knives, and they're a lot better than the one that I found, as Bella pulls out a rusty old chef's knife that looks like it's going to break at the slightest bit of pressure. And I need knives. It's how I fight.
I'm going to look at Nephylia. And Nephylia, do you think the kid should, the Baxian?
No.
No? All right, you're sure. I don't think we should
One
touch
puzzle
them.
at a time.
Yeah.
Bella, just hold off.
I want to point out
Okay.
that Ash is typing what they're trying to say.
Yeah, I was actually about to read that. From the door, you hear Alastor continuing the previous conversation. Reality is, we're in a world we don't have any control over. Who's to say we're not in our plane of existence right now?
Interesting theory. What a nightmarish thought to begin with. Maybe we should try the other doors. You want to try the other doors now, Nephylia and Alastor? Bella too?
We haven't made it through all of the barrels.
You want to keep searching them? How many more are there left? How many more are there?
3.
Okay.
Your turn, little halfling. You get the next one.
Why do I have to open up the barrel? The one I opened was potatoes.
Maybe you'll find apples this time.
Okay. Ketud will walk back to the barrels, and he will open up the barrel that is the furthest away from the disgusting rotting potatoes.
And as Ketud approaches the next barrel, we're going to approach Bella, who was lost in the mines. Previously, she had stolen a map from a table, and just as she had done so, there was a call in a language foreign to her, but from a creature she recognized as a goblin. Bella, just before, you had taken off running from these goblins. You'd taken your map and they caught you, and now you hear the drums. You hear the rattle of weapons behind you, the sound of some crank turning. You continue down a hole, running, trying to escape their reach. When that hole branches, the goblins shout from behind you. You have only a moment to consider. What are you doing?
I'm going to keep running. You said it branches?
Yes, this hole branches off into 5 separate tunnels. It's dark, but with your keen eyes, you can see a fair ways down each branch.
Do the minecart tracks follow down any one of these halls?
You take a look down the first hall as far as you can to see if there's anything at all, any minecart tracks. The first tunnel turns about 20 feet down and you cannot see past the bend. The second extends beyond the length of your sight, but you see no signs of tracks or minecarts. The third ends abruptly, 30 feet away. It is a dead end. The fourth leads to a strange contraption of wood and rope over a pit, not unlike a well's design, but there are no tracks, no carts. The fifth also extends the length of your vision, but does lead to a minecart.
I'm going to head down the fourth path towards the contraption.
I need to apologize. I just sneezed and I couldn't mute my mic on the stream. I'm very sorry to anybody listening in. So you head down the fourth tunnel, towards this contraption, towards this pit.
Does it have rope on it that I can just slide down? Or is it like a, or would it require some doing to get down into the pit?
Taking a look at it, it appears to be a lever or a crank-operated elevator of sorts. The rope drops down and it is attached to what looks to be a wooden seat. The hole appears to be roughly 40 feet deep. Fortunately for you, the seat is already lowered to the bottom, and you are able to, with some amount of effort, slide down.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna basically hop onto the rope and just slide down all the way to the bottom. Yeah.
As you
As
you grab the rope to slide down, a javelin flies past the side of your head.
Oh boy. Yeah. Just slide down. What do I see once I reach the bottom?
You quickly reach the bottom. Immediately around you is what appears to be a round, carved-out room. You can see several ore deposits here, although what they are, you're not necessarily sure, nor, I think at this moment, do you care to find out. Before you are 2 tunnels, one branching to your right and one branching to your left. You can see minecart tracks heading down the one branching to the right.
I'm going to head down the one to the right.
You begin working your way down to the right. The tunnel begins to slope down, and you can hear the elevator cranking behind you. It is slow, but the goblins are, you are certain of it, on their way. In addition, you can start to hear the drums echoing in front of you, and they start beating from all around, echoing off of the rocks.
Is there a minecart near me that I could use to ride down the shaft? Because you said it was going downwards.
About 30 feet ahead, you do see what appears to be a minecart filled with some kind of ore.
I'm going to get on it deactivate its brakes and start riding it downwards.
Give me a strength check, for the brakes are not necessarily in the best condition.
Okay, let me see here. That is going to be a 15.
It takes you no small amount of effort, but you manage to just barely crank the brakes free, and the minecart starts rolling slowly at first, but as it moves, it gains speed, moving down at roughly a 60-degree angle. And
Okay.
you are, as I understand it, on this minecart.
Yes.
Alrighty. As you continue to roll down this incline, you can hear the goblins behind you. They've reached the bottom of that elevator, and they are charging forward. As you continue on these tracks, you can start to see branching tunnels to your right and to your left, and on occasion you can see the glint of fire and torches, and you can once in a while see the eyes of goblins as they're rushing towards you, but your minecart, having picked up some amount of speed, is able to outpace them, although they do come close a few times with javelins and arrows. Roughly 60 feet ahead of you, at the edge of your dark vision, you can see what appears to be the stop to the minecart. It is a large boulder, and you are hurtling towards it rather quickly. What do you do?
I am going to drop off the minecart and tuck and roll.
Give me an acrobatics.
That's something I can do. Ooh, 22. Gotta love acrobatics, baby.
You abandon the minecart. Landing on the ground after rolling for a moment, you stand up, crouch down, and look to see if there are any goblins around you. You've stuck the landing without any ill effects.
Are there any goblins around me currently?
They're on their way. You can hear them.
Okay.
Now you are alone. For how long, you do not know.
Okay. Is there any tunnels around me right now?
You have the way your minecart was going, which I think is to your right. The way you came, where the goblins know you were, to your left. You can see that where the minecart is going leads into a larger chamber. It might branch off into more tunnels.
I'm going to head towards where my minecart was going.
As you make that decision and begin heading that way, you hear a loud crash and a bang as that minecart slams into the boulder. Rocks from the minecart going everywhere.
Okay. I'm still going in that direction.
You continue in that direction, and you get into this large chamber. This chamber is a large rotunda-like room. It is 40 feet in diameter, and appears to head up, you're not sure how tall, as it exceeds your dark vision. There are a number of ore deposits in the walls of what ore you do not know, nor do I think you are inclined to find out. You do, however, notice some crystal deposits, which I think would catch your eye for a moment.
Are there any branching tunnels? And are there any branching tunnels that are above, like, the normal area? Like, anything that I would have to climb up to?
You look around for any other way to go. You can see two tunnels here on this ground level. They're both heading off to your left. And you can see one tunnel above you. It is immediately opposite from this tunnel, roughly 30 feet up.
I am going to get a running start, jump as high as I can, and then from there start climbing using my climbing speed.
With your claws and your natural affinity for climbing, you manage to do so without any issue. However, in the time it takes you to climb, you can start to hear the goblins filling this room. How many they number, you do not know, but there are certainly more than 10. You can tell that for sure. It takes them a moment, but they spot you, and I think they spot you as you reach that tunnel.
Okay. I'm gonna start running down the tunnel.
You begin running down the tunnel, and you can hear the goblins behind you starting to work their way up. They are beginning to climb up towards this tunnel. The tunnel extends past your dark vision, and you are running into it for any hope of escape, any way out. It takes you a little while, perhaps 30 seconds. And at the edge of your dark vision, you see that this tunnel comes to an abrupt dead end.
Roll perception. Okay. Here, where the hell is my perception? There it is. Yeah, boy! That's a natural 20. It's a 21.
You hear, very faintly, there is a voice. Turn left. Walk through the wall. Trust me.
I turn left and walk through the wall.
The wall, which you immediately trust to give way, does so. It is not as as mine, though you walk into it as if it weren't there. Within, you find a peculiar group. One young female kobold, an older human male, and what looks to be a feral goblin. It is a small room that they inhabit, no bigger than 15 feet by 15 feet by your best guess. The kobold wears rusted chain armor and sits asleep against a wall. The goblin looks feral, though not hostile, covered in mud and odd symbols with a large piece of bark held tightly in his hands. The human sits bandaged up near a pile of plate armor. A religious symbol dangles from his neck. The man looks over at you, waves.
I'm going to head over to the man, and while I'm doing that, I'm actually going to turn around and make sure that the goblins have not followed me in.
There is a wall behind you.
Okay. So I'm just going to head over to the man very cautiously.
You begin approaching the human gentleman, and as you do so, he puts his finger to his lips to gesture, "Be silent."
Stop moving.
It is about then that you hear the horde of goblins barreling past. They do not seem to notice that you have not gone to the end of this tunnel.
Oh my God.
A few minutes go by, and the sound of the goblins stops. There's no longer a charge or a war band chasing you, but you do hear the sounds of footsteps beyond the wall that you charged through to get in here. After a few minutes, those footsteps stop. You can no longer hear any whispers in Goblin. You can no longer hear footsteps or rattling of metal weapons. No drums can be heard. And you are, I think, for the first time in this mine, feeling somewhat secure.
She lets out a breath and begins moving towards the human again.
He looks over at you, kind of picks up his hand to wave.
think they're gone.
Yeah, they're gone.
Thank you.
Well, welcome to the club. I'm Harris. That's Iktik. That's Cole. Iktik is the goblin as Harris points, and Cole is the kobold as he points.
Nice to meet you. I'm Bella. Do you know way back to the surface?
Well, that's a hard one to answer. See, there's way out, but it changes. You know, back when first found this hole, Cole one started digging it. I moved in trying to find a safe place, and that was back when it was in the side of the mountain. Now it's underground, and Iktik found it and decided to call it home. What I'm getting at is, this place moves, so I don't know the way out anymore.
So it's like the forest.
Yeah, kind of like the forest.
You came from there too, right? You know all the rules and the. Did you come from inside the room with the rest of the bodies?
We all start the same. We start in that room, nothing but these rags on our backs. You go out, you live your life, you find your things.
Well, I haven't found my stuff yet. I know there are others topside who might be able to help.
Yeah, there are a couple of folks scattered around. Usually like to try and keep us separated. Sometimes they don't do so good. Like Cole here. Cole wasn't never supposed to find me, nor I Cole, and Iktik, well, Iktik's what you might call an anomaly. Wasn't never supposed to break off from that goblin gang, which is only here to torment folks who go missing in the mountains or tunnels or anything like that. Of course, Iktik doesn't like to hurt folks. He's one of them nice goblins. Not many of them, and unfortunately he was born to a feral tribe like that, but he's an alright guy. Something of a healer. Just don't touch his bark.
I won't touch his bark. You said that people weren't supposed to find each other. I guess we weren't supposed to find each other?
Probably not.
Probably?
I've been here for, well, I don't know how long. You lose sense of time in this place. Cole been here longer, though.
Or is Cole okay? Or are they just resting?
She's asleep. She had watch last, so now it's my turn, and we do 12-hour shifts.
Okay. It's nice to meet you, but well, I'm gonna start looking around the room, seeing if there's anything usable that isn't, theirs.
You look around the room, and there isn't terribly much in this room. It is very obvious that it has been carved out by hand, or claw, rather. There aren't too terribly many tools. You do see 2 backpacks. They are filled with supplies, but you gather that is their supplies from before.
I don't suppose you have a spare knife. Mine's kind of shoddy, and I pull out the rusted kitchen knife.
Ah, you stole a memory knife, did you? Good on you. They're useless, but it's fun to have, I suppose.
Well, that's better than my claws.
That's fair. I might have an old knife laying around. It won't do much, but it's a knife.
I'd rather have something than nothing.
Harris gets up and limps over to his bag, rifles
Ooh,
through it.
ooh, don't. Are you hurt?
Yeah, I took a fall a while back. Didn't go well. Broke my leg. Iktik here has been tending to it, and he's been getting it better, but it's taken a while.
Is there anything you want me to do for you? You saved my life, after all. Least I could do is try to help out.
Nah, you don't gotta do nothing for me. Just we gotta look out for each other, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
He rifles through his backpack, and it takes him a moment, but he does pull out a small iron knife. It is not a dagger by any means, but it's a knife.
Right.
Walks back or limps back over and presents it to you by the handle.
Thank you. She gingerly takes the knife and flips it around a couple times. Starts getting a feel for it.
It's a very well-made knife, but again, it is just a knife and not a dagger.
Right. She slides it into place next to her kitchen knife. Thanks.
Yeah, don't mention it.
So you said that the tunnels change. I've got a map of the rail carts. Does that change as well?
Nah, it's probably accurate. See, anytime new folks show up around the forest, tunnels and mountains like to change based on their memories, and whatever that is right now is the current memory. Otherwise, the map would have changed. So, whatever that is presently accurate.
I pull the map out. Is it the same as when I saw it before?
It is the same as when you saw it before, although your memory may or may not be accurate, as you did only see it for a brief moment before you were being chased.
Okay. Alright. Well, I've never been one for running around mine shafts. I mostly try to stay above ground. Except for that one time, but we don't talk about that one time. Yay, dragons. Do you remember anything before getting pulled down into this into this place?
I remember my life. I remember things I've done. This place don't let you forget things you've done. But I don't remember things leading up to it, no.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out, maybe get a hint if there's a way out, or if there's or if there's something I can do to make this any easier.
I don't know if there's a way out. If there was a way out, I'd like to know it, because man can't keep on living like this.
Yeah. You wouldn't happen to have met that thing in the darkness, would you?
He stops and thinks for a moment. There's a pained look on his head, and he starts rubbing his temple. No, nothing like that rings a bell.
The one with the shit-eating grin? Nothing?
Nah, I've seen a lot of things with a grin like that.
Well, don't lose your friends. If you do, if you go off alone, it likes to screw with you. It showed me memories and things. I don't think that, you know, you'd like to go through your memories all over again.
Bella, my friend's already gone. There were 3 of us when we started, and I got taken by the things in the forest. You know, the shadows off in there. Then I remember Miser came in after me, and I don't remember what happened to her. I got away somehow, and don't know what happened to Sean.
Shit. Just remember, stay away from dark places and stay with these two. And maybe me if we start traveling. I've got another group I've got to try to get back to, apparently.
If you're gonna go and try and get back to him, good luck to you. Just, you be careful. Goblins, serious business. You know, they're not the strongest things by themselves, but together, they'll mess you up.
Oh no, I've dealt with them plenty of times before. I've just never seen them in this many numbers.
Yeah,
I've seen war parties, but I've never seen a war party this big.
Yeah, they like to mess with folks. Hey, you gotta be careful though if you go out there. What's in here? It's somebody's generated memory. So whatever it is they gotta face, you might end up facing it alone. You be careful if you leave.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. Do you mind if I stay for a couple minutes and arrange myself?
Yeah, come on. Get you some rest. I'll need it.
Thank you.
And as Bella gets comfortable in her safe little hideaway, protected by an illusory wall, we cut back to the temple, where I believe Ketud has gone to the furthest barrel from the potatoes and has decided to open it.
Yes.
As I bring my barrel notes back up. And you said the furthest barrel from the potatoes, yes?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You begin to work the lid off of this barrel, just slightly as I understand it, so that you can get a whiff, maybe peek inside and see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You hear a peculiar noise, almost a buzzing sound. You take a whiff, and you can't smell anything, but you peer in slightly, and you see movement.
I don't think we should open this one. I don't know what's in here, but I hear a buzzing. I'm going to close the lid and go to the next lid. The one that's, I'm guessing, adjacent to that one that hasn't been opened.
Alrighty. You head over towards the next barrel, and you open it?
Yes, crack it open.
You crack it open. Take a look inside. There's some kind of liquid. You smell. It smells almost like alcohol.
I'm going to open it more and try to identify the liquid.
Opening it more and taking a look inside, there is a strange red liquid. To identify it, give me a nature check. It's not a terribly difficult DC.
That's good, because I got a 12.
Taking a look, giving it a smell, perhaps dipping your finger in it and giving it a taste. This is wine.
Ooh. Nephilia, I opened that barrel over there and I heard buzzing. It sounds like some kind of bees are in there. I don't know if we should deal with that. But this one has wine in it.
I'm sorry, a barrel of bees?
Sounded like it. There was buzzing in there. You not see the movement. Would Nephilia know anything to do with a barrel of not bees in a kitchen?
In no way, shape, or form would I ever imagine there's going to be a barrel of bees in the kitchen.
Well, all right then. That must mean that this part isn't a part of your memory, and that barrel contains something potentially dangerous that we probably shouldn't open up. But the wine here, though, maybe we could drink some wine later.
Uh-huh.
Why don't you open the last 2 barrels and we can get on with this room?
I'm going to go towards the next barrel that does not contain the strange buzzing sound.
You head over to the remaining barrel, the final barrel. And you open it up.
Yes.
You hear, coming from the doorway, chiming in as Alastor, I do not suggest consuming anything within this place.
Wise words. Didn't you eat something back in that other house, Nephilia? At Alastor's home?
It looked so good.
Yeah. Well. I gotcha. Alright, good words to live by.
Alright. So you open up the barrel.
Yes.
You slide the lid off. You look inside and there's a mass of something in there, although you cannot tell what. It is not moving, however, and you take a whiff. It smells almost like onions?
I'm gonna knock the barrel over.
Alright, you push the barrel over, and out comes rolling a great many onions. Simple Vidalia onions.
Are they rotten?
They are not.
That's a lot of onions. I might start crying in a minute. Don't cry over overspilled onions, Nephilia.
Ha. Aha. Aha.
No, I don't think anything else is worthy of our attention in this room. Let's go to the next room. Unless you see anything, Nephilia?
I'm still staring at the barrel of bees.
I'm curious about the barrel of bees.
Says Bella.
I'm gonna crack it just a little bit and take a peek inside. See if I can identify it.
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
You crack the barrel and you can start to hear a soft buzzing. Give me a nature check.
I got a 10.
It's some kind of insect.
Well, what is it, Nephilia?
It's a bug.
A barrel of bees.
Wrong. Seems kind of wrong to just leave it in here.
Or wasps, I guess. I don't know. Maybe we can talk to one of your wisp friends out there, and maybe they can tell us what it is. Yeah, Alastor is right. Barrels aren't supposed to just buzz.
It's an insect. There's an insect in there.
But look, how many could be in there?
Am I able to determine that?
There are a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Magic isn't that very good. A bunch of little creatures you can't hit.
This is a really... This doesn't make sense. We have a barrel of onions. We have a barrel of stinky potatoes. We have a barrel of wine. We have a barrel of insects and a book.
Well, I mean, if you really wanted to, if you really wanted to examine this barrel of bees, what's stopping us from dumping all of that mashed potato goo crap into the barrel of bees? Very carefully, not opening the lid, just to drown them, and then we can open up the barrel if you want to. Because if you're so adamant about figuring out what's in this barrel, then you'll find out when we dump in all that moldy, liquidy stuff.
Do you hear yourself right now?
Am I robotic-y or am I just crazy?
Yes.
You're crazy.
Well, I don't know what else to do in this room. Ketud's gonna leave.
I really want one of those knives.
You can separate them.
I don't think we should. Yeah, Alastor says no as well. Tell you what, after we've investigated the rest of the rooms, if we're still stuck and don't know how to get out of here or what else we need to do, we'll come back to the knives and the barrel of bees.
From outside the door here. Alright, sounds good.
Fine, but I really want one.
Not right now.
And Bella appears to be defeated, yet leaving.
Before I leave the room, I wanted to go take a peek at the spices you said that I could see. Is there anything in there that I might find use for?
You take a look at the jars, and while you know that this is where the kitchen kept their spices, you're not sure what jar has what in it, as they are not labeled.
Okay, so I can't I can just tell that they're spices, but I can't identify them.
Not unless you open them up and actually try and figure it out.
How many jars is it?
Roughly 4.
Okay. I'm gonna try to open one of them.
All right. They are corked bottles, so it's very easy to open up one of them. I think you would probably grab the first jar closest to you. You pull off the cork, and how do you identify this?
I'm going to pop the cork and keep the bottle away from me in case anything shoots out. But then, if that doesn't occur, I will try and take it and pour out whatever the contents are on the table.
As you pull out the cork, aiming it away from you, 1,000 bees shoot at... No. You open it up, pointing it away, and nothing happens. But you pour out the contents onto the counter. It is a fine brown powder.
Cinnamon. Cumin.
Does it have a smell?
You lean in to smell it a little bit. It smells warm. It smells almost like a dessert. You get the feeling that it might be good in some soups.
I assume that I didn't just dump the entire content out. How big of a bottle am I talking here?
It's roughly 3 inches tall and about 1 inch in diameter. So it's not a small bottle, but it's not a huge bottle.
Okay. I'm gonna cork what's left and pocket it.
Alrighty.
I am going to do the same with the next one.
Alrighty. For the sake of time, as none of these bottles are trapped, and they all have just simple spices in them, the first bottle was a bottle of cinnamon. The next bottle, you take a whiff of it. That's tarragon, you're certain of it. The third bottle, you shimmy it around, you taste it a little bit. Well, that's not supposed to be in here at all, that's sugar. That's not where it belongs, but you've got it. And the fourth and final bottle, you smell it, taste it, and there can be no doubt that this bottle, as the Dungeon Master scrolls through his notes to find it, is rosemary.
Ooh.
The bottles, I should clarify, none of them are 100% filled. Rather, they range from being a quarter full to half full, and after testing them, I don't think you would have lost too much more than that. So you have a limited amount of these 4 spices, or 3 spices and sugar.
I will pocket them and do one more sweep of the room, check and see if there was anything else out of place.
Give me an investigation.
$15.
You scan the room one last time, going over everything to make sure there's nothing else in here. And you don't see anything out of the ordinary, aside from the knives and the barrels. Although, I think, doing this last sweep, you noticed something. After Bella had mentioned it before, she had mentioned she found some cards underneath the table. Well, she left them there, and they're very familiar. That's your deck of cards.
I am going to pluck up my deck of cards that I totally forgot I had in my inventory and put them in my backpack.
And so you do.
Ketud. I want to say Ketud being outside. How high are the wisps? Because I wanted to know if one wisp had come down to me while I was outside in the church area.
The wisps are not terribly high up at all. While there are some, yes, up on the balconies, the rest appear to be at normal height. Some closer to the ground than others, but none of them are exceeding 5 feet.
I wanted to politely converse with one and see if I get a response. Just, excuse me, sorry to bother you, but I wanted to ask you a question. Could you spare me the time?
The wisp pays you no mind.
Okay. And I'll ignore it and won't continue.
I'm gonna walk out, see him talking to Wisp, and say, "Stop that."
I'm trying to figure out what's in that barrel of bees that you're so adamant about.
So you're going to ask the Wisp?
They might know. They weren't paying attention to me, though. I think they'll only talk to you if you wanted to ask them a question. That's if
I
you
would
wanted to ask
rather
them.
I would rather not bother them in case they become angry with us. They seem to outnumber us by a lot.
They do indeed. That's why I was very polite to them. To the one I talked to, anyway.
Yeah, if they're
Well,
anything like the one from outside, I don't want to fight him.
Wait, what? What do you say?
If they're anything like the thing from outside, I don't want to fight him. You remember the lady that was in white outside?
Oh, yeah, no. I know what you're talking about. I just thought maybe a wisp would be a little different than that. But anyway, we have 2 more doors in the bottom floor, I believe, unless we have more. Ketud starts to walk toward the middle right side door.
Gonna start walking that way as well. And I assume Alastor is following in tow.
As you begin to approach the next iron door, rusted and in place, with its rune intact, Alastor begins to follow, and will make short work of the rune with another firebolt.
Thanks, Alastor. I want to push the door open.
Alright, and Ash, if I ever say anything that your character would not do, don't be afraid to call me out on it. As I know right now, speaking is a little difficult for you, so just don't be afraid to call me out. Ketud, you begin to push open the door. It is heavy and it is difficult to move, as it is rusted and made of iron. But you manage to do so, and with a loud metallic screech it scrapes across the floor and opens. You can see wisps of darkness. They are dissipating now that the rune is gone. And the room, you can see it clearly. This room and the room above have been utterly destroyed, leaving nothing but fallen stones, timber, and dust. Crushed beneath the rubble, a hand escapes, lifeless, without motion and frozen. It holds a letter.
Ketud's going to look back at Nephylia and very carefully start walking toward the hand. Nephylia, come on. Unless you don't want to. I was going to carefully take that hand out, but I feel safer with you behind me.
You're gonna take the hand out?
I'm going to take the letter out. Sorry.
I mean, the hand might come with it. I don't know. Might get a 2-for-1 deal.
Ketud's going to ignore the jest and very carefully take the letter out of the hand.
You do so, and you can hear a crack in the hand as you take the letter.
Does the letter come out?
You do have the letter.
Ketud's going to walk back to the door and out the door and ask Nephylia to come hither.
I would like to investigate the room before I vacate the premises.
You take a look around the room, see if there's anything else at all here. Although you do not necessarily find anything, no traps, no hidden treasures, no lost pieces of your property. This room is completely and utterly destroyed.
All right. I will walk back out.
Ketud's going to start opening the letter in front of Nephylia.
Sorry, could you say that again?
Ketud's going to open the letter in front of Nephylia.
You open the letter, and taking a look at it without even reading it, you can see plainly the same eye symbol that has plagued you thus.
Well, what does the letter have on it?
Is that to say you read it?
Yes. Open up. Or try to read it. I don't know what's on the letter, if it's in my language or not.
You begin to read this letter, and for a moment you cannot understand it, for it is written in a language you do not necessarily know, but the letters upon the page grow this odd, fiery green, and begin to dance around the paper for you and you alone. Nephylia, this paper seems perfectly ordinary. There's a pain in your head, Ketud, as these letters move and contort themselves into a language you full well understand. The letter reads, 4 bodies to 3 bodies, 4 souls to 3 to 2. Time ticks away, and they are impatient. They are coming. Tick tock, your time has an end. And upon reading these words, the sound of growling can be heard. It echoes through the chambers of the temple. There's a certain fear that strikes your hearts, and alongside it a sense of déjà vu.
Where's the growling coming from?
Give me a perception.
Can I quickly have read this out loud so that way the other guys know what I was reading?
Yes, I think if you would prefer, you could have, read this out loud.
Okay, yeah.
That is a 14.
You listen closely to discern where this growling is coming from. The best that you can tell is that it echoes from within the temple, from where you know not. Alastor, as I assume you're standing guard at the door, you would notice that while the wisps paid you and your companions, save for Nephylia, no mind, they do notice this growling, and they appear frightened. You hear from outside. Guys, the wisps don't like the growling. I trust them to know what's up.
Nephylia, maybe you can talk to them now.
I guess I'll approach the closest wisp and attempt to communicate with it. Excuse me.
Heading over to the nearest wisp, it seems frightened. Floating about and bouncing erratically. You get its attention and it stops. Its color, which was this ethereal bluish-white color, shifts to a soft orange. It does nothing, and it waits.
Do you know what that growling was?
The wisp is silent for a moment, and then you hear the words, tick tock, your time has an end.
Maybe we should leave the temple.
How many other doors are there in here?
Well, it looks like we have those 3 doors, 2 against the wall, 1 up there, and then 4-ish doors up above. But I don't think that we should stay in here for very much longer. Maybe we should look outside and see if there's something outside.
All right. Well, the key that I have, do any of the remaining doors that I can see have a lock that this would work for, or is this key still too small for that?
The key is actually much too large for any of the doors here. You hear Alastor chime in. There are too many. I don't think we have the time to search them all.
This doesn't make sense.
I don't think we have time to make sense of it. I think we need to move. If I recall last time, those hellhound things were on us in seconds. Not that they were hellhounds. You know what I'm talking about. The things by the forest. Either we can try to go deeper, or we can get out of the temple. I think that we should get out of the temple. I don't trust this thing from not falling on top of us. Alastor, Bella, what do you think?
Well, things are getting scary in here, and the wisps are acting weird, and I don't want to. I want to hide. Alastor chimes in. I vote we go upstairs first. I don't think going outside will do us any good. I don't think we're 100% done with this area.
But how do we get upstairs? There's no stairs anywhere.
You notice that the ambient light in the temple begins to shift. Where it was once this soft twilight color, it is beginning to shift to an orangish hue as more and more wisps begin to change their color.
I think the wisps are getting angry at us. They might... I'm afraid they might try to attack us. There's far too many of them for us to deal with.
I'm gonna wait until I see what she says. No worries.
It's okay. Ketud is going to start walking toward the door in a hurried pace, not running, but at a jog.
You begin approaching the next door downstairs.
No, I'm running for the front door.
Towards the exit.
Or jogging for the... Mm-hmm.
All right. I think Bella would be behind you in short order.
Probably.
Four bodies to three bodies, four souls to three.
Alastor, Nephylia, are you joining Ketud and Bella towards the door, or are you remaining within?
I don't want to split the party again. So, I guess we are leaving. Or attempting to.
Alright. Alastor, you are following Nephylia. Nephylia is following Ketud and Bella, who are both heading towards the door. As they reach the door, I think the last of the wisps' colors would change, and the temple begins to shake. Dust begins to fall from the rafters. The growling grows louder. You are standing at the door. You are at the threshold. Do you open it?
Yes. Unflinchingly.
You push the door open, and it is slow to open as these two are large iron doors that have rusted over time. It takes no small amount of effort, but you do manage to open it. And on opening it, the outside is very different from last you saw. Where before you saw the water feature, the rotten boardwalk, the ice and the snow. Now you see no such features. You see no ice, you see no boardwalk. You see not the scene you'd known coming in. Rather, you see the forest before you. It is 40 feet ahead of you. And between you and that forest, it appears to be a mound of rocks with a door on it.
Look in front of us.
I can see it.
It's all different now. That moment in time, there's like a big bang behind Ketud as the temple shakes, and he proceeds to leave the temple altogether. Yeah.
How is there a door in a pile of rocks?
I don't know, but I don't think we should question it.
Will somebody go open the door?
Well, let's go get out of the temple first. Come on now. Ketud will proceed to start walking toward the door. He will be looking around him left and right to see if there's anything like if those beans are still in the forest or if there's something around him.
Taking a look towards the forest, you can still see motion. There are shadows darting about in there, although they make no effort to leave the forest. Do you at any point turn around and look back into the temple?
Yes. At first, while I'm leaving the temple, I would turn it back to like look at them to get them to come with us, and then I'm sure I would see whatever's in the temple.
As you look back to make sure people are following you, you see the wisps. They're changing. They're altering. They're getting closer together. They're forming a large mass. It's almost as though they're forming a beast of sorts. What sort of beast you do not know, as you are watching it take shape.
Guys, we need... Like, Ketud's gonna like scream at them, like, guys, come on, we need to get out of the temple. There's something happening that you guys need to see. Does my plea of desperation move you guys more?
I mean, I assume, like, while this is going on, we're already out of the temple. We were right behind you. So... yeah. As Alastor says, everyone booked it.
I don't know if we had like stopped like to examine the door in front of us again, or if we were all like running toward the door.
Right now.
I'm gonna be focused on the door and the pile of rocks, and as soon as I walk out, that's gonna be where I'm headed.
With some amount of haste, you are approaching this door on the pile of rocks. It is most peculiar. It is as though that door leads into a rock, which is subsequently on the pile. You can start to hear the growling louder. You can start to hear claws on stonework behind you.
I'm gonna open the door.
The door is locked. It
Do I
has
have
a
a key?
large keyhole.
I'm gonna try my key.
You slide your iron key into this lock, and it turns. Although it is an old lock and somewhat rusted, and takes some amount of effort, you do manage to do it after a moment.
I'm gonna pull the door open.
And the door opens. Behind you, you can hear the sound of some beast. Is anybody looking towards the temple?
No, not anymore. I'm looking at the door now, too.
Alastor? Alastor, as you glance back at the temple, for a brief moment as the door opens, you see what appears to be the visage of a hound, but not a single visage, for there are three, with snarling teeth and fangs. They glare at you with 6 yellow eyes, its body of that same orange hue that made the wisps, for it itself is made of them, a swirling mass, and it's begun to charge towards you. I think, Nephylia, as you've opened up the door, you would probably very quickly be moving in, hearing the sounds of the beast, though not seeing it. If I'm wrong, do stop me.
Nope. I imagine while she was unlocking this door and hearing what's going on behind her, she's just in her mind going to be going crack, 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 and making her way into whatever is in front of her.
And so you charge quite quickly into this door. Ketud, I imagine, follows in short order, and Bella and Alastor, I think, almost Three Stooges this as they both try and charge in at the same time.
Yes.
And upon entering, I think there's a moment where everybody very quickly slams the door shut.
Do we hear any noise as the beast runs into the rock pile after the door has been closed?
There is silence.
We never saw it actually make it out of the temple, so we don't know if it did that.
Oh, I thought it might have slammed the door. What's around us?
As you take a moment, you compose yourself, you listen, you hear no sound from the beast beyond, and you take stock of your surroundings. You're in a tunnel of sorts, an entryway, perhaps to a mine. You see tracks before you and a minecart. There's some picks to your right, although their handles are rotten and their heads are rusted. You can see a desk to your left with some papers and charts. Nephylia, this place is somewhat familiar to you. While you were never personally here, you knew of this place. You were told never to come here. And you know exactly what happened here.
Now it's canon.
It was before.
It's canon now.
Alright guys, this is still me. Apparently it's all me. It must be very important.
What do you mean it's just you?
This is still part of my memory. Sort of.
Are we in a loop? Oh Lord, I hope
Nope.
not.
This is, if I'm remembering correctly, this is the cave that my mother passed away in.
Ooh. Wow. That's hard to imagine. Hold on a second.
What you got, smell, boy?
It's no different than Alastor having to deal with their mother. I'll look over to Alastor and go, well, we can have parental issues together now.
As Alastor rests his hand on your shoulder, his face solemn and understanding. I think I found something useful. Like, there aren't many of them, but we might be able to use them if we need to. As Bella comes up from underneath the desk off to the left with all of the papers. I kind of want to keep them, but it might work better if we all have some. And she produces 10 darts. Nephylia, those are your darts.
Bella, you are just finding all of my belongings.
Yours, but I found them.
I'll tell you what, Bella, you hold on to a couple for me. We'll split them up, like you said.
Bella nods and splits them in twain. You receive 5 darts, and Bella hangs on to 5 darts.
Seems only fair since you found them.
Alastor chimes in. I think we can get through here, but we need to be careful not to fall into traps.
I imagine there's going to be just as many here that there were in the other places, so everybody keep your eyes open. Is there anything else around that desk, Bella?
Just some old papers and notes.
I'm gonna walk over to the desk and inspect what's on it.
Taking a look at what's on the desk, there are, as Bella had indicated, papers and notes written in a strange runic language.
Hey, Ketud.
What's up?
You want to come do that thing that you do so well?
Hold on. I want to copy and paste this conversation you and I had about to post so he knows. If this is the same cave system, right, that you're talking about, according to our pre-lore, I've been here too. Maybe not directly in the place, but yeah, Ketu will go over to the table and pick up the note and attempt to read it.
As you pick up the note, you take a look at it. It is written in an odd runic language that is somewhat familiar, but you do not know it. After a moment, the letters upon the page begin to dance around, and there is that familiar pain in your mind. It is worse. Every time this happens, the pain gets worse. But you power through, and the letters on the page form some semblance of a language you do understand. And these documents are some reference to mining bureaucracy, for lack of a better term. It is the ore that is leaving, payments coming in, their workers' wages, and a list of people who are authorized to be in the mine.
Just a bunch
Anything of use?
just a bunch of names, bunch of people who've come to this mine before and had permission to come down here. It's some kind of mining town almost. This seems oddly familiar for some strange reason. I'm not entirely sure why. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't know what's happening here.
I think right about here, you would hear the sound of crashing metal deep within the mine.
On earth was that?
It is almost like the sound of a minecart crashing into a large stone.
Can we tell which direction it was coming from?
As of now, there is only one direction to go, and that would be forward. Unless you wish to try the door behind you.
I do not wish to try that door yet. So
Did we just stumble into something worse, though, is the question.
I feel like this is probably the safer bet, considering we had a giant beast that was made of wisp that was coming after us on the other side of that door.
I agree. I don't want to... I don't know what that was, and I don't want to fight it.
Well, is everybody okay if we continue on towards that noise? Maybe somebody needs our assistance.
I can scout ahead if we want, see if there's anything coming up. I'm pretty good at not being seen.
I don't know that we should split the party anymore, Bella.
I wouldn't go far.
I don't know. I don't trust this place. I think it's best we all stay within eyesight.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I trust your ability to sneak away, I feel like if you get by yourself, something foul may happen to you. That's the worst thing. That's the last thing I want something to happen to our party.
Begrudgingly, Bella nods, but you can tell by the expression upon her face she's not happy about it.
All right, onwards we go.
And the party begins to descend into the mine. The mine that is the tomb to Nephilia's mother, and it is the mine we shall explore next week. Thank you, everybody, for attending this week's game, for some wonderful role play, some great exploration, getting lucky and choosing the right tunnels, Bella.
Oh my god.
That is 300 experience points for everyone.
Oh, good lord.
You got very lucky.
Call it intuition.
I can't wait for this reunion.
Oh, good lord.
I'm imagining like the Spider-Man meme, like both of them just going like.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm sure that Imposter Bella wouldn't do anything.
Oh
Imposter
my
Bella,
gosh.
I'm trying to appease with darts right now. I'm giving her pointy objects.
That's a bad idea.
It's a great idea to let the rogue go ahead and scout.
That's a good idea. It's a bad idea to give them sharp things. Because those sharp things end up in your back.
Nah, it'd be fine.
Thank you guys for all of the help and patience with everything, and I'm just very sorry that I've not really been able to talk or anything, but I think you can tell why I haven't been.
That's no
You
worries.
good. Don't worry about it.
Ash, you're quite alright. We all full well understand. The plague that you have caught, that's not something you can play around with. In fact, I am legitimately impressed that you were willing to join us this week and you're not just dying in bed.
The only reason I'm here right now is because I spent most of the day asleep, I'm not gonna lie.
And that's perfectly reasonable.
But yeah,
You all good?
wash your hands, wear a mask, don't catch the Rona, kids. It sucks.
Agreed, and please do get better soon.
Keep us posted.
Yep.
I gotta know. Post, was that a barrel of bees?
So I could tell you, or I could save it and use it again later.
Have you stopped the stream, or are you still streaming?
I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the stream live on YouTube. We will be doing this regularly every Wednesday, unless the people playing in the game don't want that to occur. So tune in next week at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time in the evening. And until then, thank you for tuning in, and good luck. And we're clear.
Hey.